All right, how's it going? I know it's been a while since I've made any like camp related videos, but yeah, I kind of saw this today and I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to do like a test on the Dometic and catch it on video to show you guys what I use and how I use my stuff, because it is like a question I get asked pretty often regarding the Goal Zero and the Dometic raffles that I do on Vilmont Market. So yeah, this Dometic CFX3 35, I usually do like I pair this with the Yeti 500X and the Nomad 50 pretty often, and I kind of wanted to show you guys like that it actually works. So I'm gonna run a test using this CFX3. I've had this one for I think since they came out, really. Maybe the first month these were released, I ended up getting the 35, and yeah, I've used this one. It was in my Tundra. I used it as a step stool to get into my Go Fast camper, so it's pretty beat. As you can see, the side has like a dent on it and then scratches, all this like dust, all this dust in here because it was in the bed of my truck like full time, and all I had it was strapped down using these handles here, so it was getting banged up pretty often, but it works fine. You know, I haven't had any issues with it. The only weird thing that I have is this latch here is like once you close it, you really have to like slam it to close, but I think that's just me from stepping on this constantly, but it still closes, still cools pretty well, but yeah, like I was saying, I am gonna pair it with this Yeti 500X and the Nomad 50, and I'm gonna try to replicate a test like if I'm actually gonna go camping. But yeah, oh man, look how dirty that is. So I haven't washed this or wiped it down or anything since I had it, just kind of been using it, and yeah, I think I'm gonna clean it up right now. Alright, so the way I'm going to run this test is, so ideally what I do before I go camping is I fill the fridge up with all the food and water that I'm going to be taking, and then I plug this into the wall using Dometic's cable that they give you for the 12 volt. You just plug it into the wall and I just leave the fridge overnight. Then morning we wake up, we get ready to go, throw this in the back of the truck, and then plug it in using the cigarette lighter, and then that's getting power while we're driving to wherever we're going. And then once we get to camp, I use the Goal Zero paired with the Nomad 50. So tomorrow, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave this plugged in overnight, then take this outside and then plug the solar panel to the Yeti 500X and then Yeti 500X to the Dometic, and then kind of give you updates as we're going to show you what the numbers are, how like much power has been drained from the Goal Zero and how much power has been going in. That should kind of give you an idea of how long you can run this setup and how many days. I've ran it for about 3 days and didn't have any issues, but then we drive around and stuff, so I plug this into my vehicle, the Dometic, so this gets charged pretty quick. So I can't really give you numbers as to how long this will last on its own, but I've had it for about 3 days and it's worked out just fine. So by the way, this thing has a pretty cool drain hole here, so if you really want to, you can kind of rinse this off and then everything will go down here. You should be good to go that way. All right, so here it is. Ideally, like I was saying earlier, is that you would want to fill all these empty pockets. So like I would, if I had more, I'd throw more drinks here, maybe fill this up a little bit, for sure fill this little gap that's in here, for sure fill that up, and yeah, just you kind of want to make sure that, you know, it's pretty filled. That way it's not constantly turning on and off, on and on, just to try to keep the fridge cool. So right now I have it connected to the wall outlet, obviously right there, going down into here. I'm gonna leave this overnight, and then tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and take this outside, plug it into the Goal Zero, and then we'll see what kind of numbers we get for tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out. We're gonna leave it at 35 degrees Fahrenheit. See what kind of numbers we get from that. All right, so I brought the Dometic CFX3 outside with the Goal Zero 500X, and then I'm about to hook up this 50 watt solar panel from Goal Zero as well. We'll see how it does throughout the day. Right now everything's at 100%. Let's see. So right now it's at full It's only pulling 3 watts because the fridge is off. It's not really cutting on and off. As soon as I open it though, that'll cut on. Eventually I'm gonna leave this overnight and then go into tomorrow to see where we're at in terms of power on the Goal Zero. By the way, if you didn't know, with these solar panels, you can connect them directly to a USB, or you can daisy chain them. So if I have another 50 Nomad 50 solar panel, I can kind of piggyback it and have 100 watts. So that's what all these are for. This is the one that connects directly to the Goal Zero. This Goal Zero and the solar panel, they have this thing where it won't do any input from solar when it's 100% charged. So again, we're just gonna have to check back with it later, but usually this will go up to like 30. Even though it's a 50-watt panel, we're not gonna get 50 watts, probably get around 30. So I'll come back again later today. Right now it's 10:57, Thursday, April 8th. So I'll come back later today to see how it's doing. All right, so it's 4:14 right now, and I'm gonna check to see where we're at. All right, so that's where we're at right now. It's still showing full. I'm pulling 20 watts, 15 watts. The fridge has been cutting on and off throughout the day. But yeah, I mean, 21 watts, the sun's kind of going down. I got to reposition the solar panel. I left it in the same spot the whole time. But as you can see, the Goal Zero is pretty much fully charged. Now I am going to leave this overnight and just, you know, wake up and see where we're at in terms of power. We should be like around the 40%. And then after that, it should charge almost all the way up throughout the whole day. So towards the night, it should be around the 80%. But again, we'll see tomorrow. So as of right now, towards the end of the day, around 4 p.m., we started like around 10 something. We're still at full using this 50-watt solar panel. Right now we're pulling in 25 watts. So it kind of ranges and stuff. Clouds go by, so it goes lower in terms of input watts. But yeah, this is where we're at. I mean, we're doing pretty good. Temps are still at 36, I think. I don't know how well you can see that. We're at 36. We want to be at 34. All right. So it is 12 a.m. and we are pretty much at 80%, 0 amps, because it's pretty cold out here right now. Let's see where we're at. 34 degrees. There you go. And it's on. It is Friday, April 9th, 2:39 p.m. Alright, so I'm pretty much full again, pulling in 25 watts on the solar. But yeah, I should have put this more in the shade. Turn that light off in the USB, I'm not using those. And the Dometic is in the sun. We're sitting at 34 degrees. It's still going. We're at 60%. Let's see how it does in the morning. Alright, so Saturday, April 10th, 6:23 p.m. Fridge is still out here with the solar panel. Stayed out here all day, and we got 60% left. Actually, let me try to zoom that in. 60% left on the Goal Zero. Might just bring it in at night to see how down it drops, because it's probably going to kick on and off a few more times, which is it's going to use some power. But yeah, I mean, it's been like 2.5 days already, 2 days, and did pretty good with just this 50-watt solar panel. So all day today I didn't move it as much as I should have. If I'm at camp, I usually I'm more mindful of it, so I'll move it as the sun, moves in the sky. I'll move around the solar panel, move it in different spots, so that way it gets the best sunlight on it, so that we get the most charge. But right now we're sitting at 30 degrees on the fridge. Inside it's on, you can see the light is on. Everything's pretty cold in there. Cold, it's nice. So yeah, I'll bring it in later tonight. Obviously that solar panel's not doing anything now. I could like hang it up there where the sun is still kind of hitting it, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, so it's Monday now. Started on Thursday on the 8th. And we are at 40%. Let's see. 40%. Still can go for 78 hours, but the fridge is not on right now. We're at 32 degrees. Things pretty cold. So tomorrow will be the end day. I'll end it tomorrow morning, and then we'll talk a little bit about how long it lasted. Alright, so it is Monday, April 12th, 3:24 p.m. This thing is still out here. The power is about, you can't really tell, but it's about 40%, and I'm getting 25 watts in. Can't really tell, actually. Yeah, let me do this. There you go. That should be a little better. Alright, that's as best as I'm gonna get. 25 watts going in, 40% left, and it's charging with the solar panel. But I mean, this thing's been outside for like 4 days already, and it's still doing pretty well. We're gonna take this inside, and we'll talk a little bit more about what happened and what I noticed throughout these 4 days of the Dometic being outside, paired with this solar panel and Goal Zero. The fridge is it's all dusty already. It's at 34. I'm not sure you can see that too well. But it's at 34 degrees. Everything's still on, lights still on. Super cold. Alright, so I'm gonna take all this inside and talk a little bit more about it. Alright, so that's gonna be the end of the test here. It did really well, a little bit better than I thought, because I've only used this for 3 days in a row, and then there was like a day of driving in between that, like switching camp spots. So usually when I do that, I plug the Goal Zero back into the car, and then I plug in the Dometic into the car, so I'm not using the Goal Zero, and then the Goal Zero charges as we're driving. So, I kind of never really had a real world test where I have the Goal Zero connected to the Dometic and I just run it completely off of that. Well, obviously in the solar, but it did really well. It lasted 4 days, a solid 4 days of it being completely charged. I think we ended at like 30%, 40% on the Goal Zero when I cut it at the fourth day. So, and that was towards the end of the day too. But yeah, it did really well. Had no issues really with it throughout the whole time I did this little test. One thing I didn't do is open this lid as much as I would when I'm actually out camping, because I'm getting drinks, food to cook. So this thing is constantly being open and closed like throughout the day. But another thing I also didn't do is move the solar panel as much as I would if I were to be actually camping, because I'm very mindful of where the sun is, and I'm moving the solar panel so I can get the most charge on the Goal Zero. So that's one thing I didn't do as well. So it kind of cancels out in my opinion. So, but yeah, this thing did really well. It held temperature really well. It was directly on the sun. It wasn't under shade like I would normally put it to when I'm out camping. I try to find shade for it, but I didn't do that. I wanted to see how well it would stay cool with the sun being directly on it. Not only that, but there was a lot of empty pockets in here too. So there's this space like I showed earlier. But yeah, it was also fighting against that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This thing is it's a beast. I like it. It's so tiny, but it gets the job done. You know, only problem is the lid here, but that's my fault because I constantly would step on this when I would get onto my Go Fast camper. Like this would be my step to get up on there. But it did well. I mean, it's not broken or anything. Yeah, that's going to be it. Kind of wanted to show you guys this little test here to show you how well the Goal Zero 500X and the Nomad 50 solar panel work. This is like a pretty good alternative to throwing a dual battery system into your car, I think. Although there is a little bit more pros to having a dual battery system. If you're just thinking about fridges and like little electronics and stuff, I think this is perfect for that.